Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is a barbarian game with these controls. They're very easy to remember. It's a very straightforward game centered in elven lands where you are a barbarian. It's local co-op. You could select barbarian, elf, dwarf. So you're located in Baldur's Gate. Essentially, the save points are books. You could save as many times as you want. You have two-handed weapons or one-handed weapon, and you're walking around and you fight people. There's me fighting goblins. They drop gold items. There are weapon racks with weapons. I prefer two-handed weapons initially, but I upgrade one-handed weapon as I progress. You can see the attack 1 through 6 for the LT mace and 1 through 3 for the shoddy short sword. So initially at the beginning, you kind of do run out of potions. It's very simple, the controls. I prefer to use Barbarian Rage, which I'll go over in a bit. But here are chests, which drop items as well. So obviously I'm picking up some potions right there. The red is the healing, blue is the magic, which you could use for Barbarian Rage. And you can see the potions right here. The amulets don't do anything. You sell them at the merchant later on, after you beat the first boss in the Red Fang Glare. So here I am, about to level up. You press select to level up. I recommend doing Barbarian Rage and great weapon focus initially. Because the one-handed power weapon is very good, but Barbarian Rage, this is Barbarian Rage. You press circle, or B, and essentially it makes you stronger. I level up Barbarian Rage very early on. There's also Endurance, which lets you carry more capacity, so you can carry more potions, so you don't have to backtrack as you get later into the game. And there are other skills as well, which I'll review in a little bit. So at the beginning, you do have to block and fight carefully, because there are only so many potions before the merchant. But once you get to the merchant, obviously you could get as many potions as you need. So you just need to be a little bit careful and time like how you're fighting people. I played on the normal difficulty. This game's super easy to find out where you're going. I don't need to explain it. So here's the first boss, Cave. It's very easy to find. Everything in this game is easy to find. Everything is easy to backtrack. It's very straightforward. You just have to save people or save villagers at certain areas. There are mad save points all over the place. Here's me blocking all of the arrows from the goblins. Before I progress, I lead out some enemies sometimes. Only at like the beginning. As you get stronger, it really doesn't matter. Later on, I'll actually share like which weapons you need for specific areas. Because the enemies do get stronger, and you do need specific weapons as you level up and upgrade. For example, once you get to the Fine Greatsword in like the skeleton boss area, you need that for the reptilians. And also you need the golden axe from the merchant in order to fight like the 100 people in the sewer for the captain. So some doors are locked, you need keys for them. You could backtrack and it's very easy to find. Right about soon I'm about to find the great weapon, which I'll equip, and it's a one-handed power weapon. But here's me just fighting some dude. I use Barbarian Rage a few times. You can see the blue bar goes down as I use it. And you could press R2 to heal and L2 to increase your magic. I only say that right now, in this point of the video. Because I don't share like key strats with noobs. Here's a short bow. I don't really use those except on like the green gels. Sometimes when you level up, you got to do like your base stats, which I typically just do like so. So here, I do Barbarian Rage again. It's very useful. I use it all the time. You could obviously also sprint in this game. So if you press down on the D-pad or up on the D-pad, you can switch between Barbarian Rage and Sprint. So you could sprint around by pressing B. Here's like the first cell key. I'll edit that out. I'm not even going to put this on YouTube, I don't think. All those things that are popping out of their heads, those are brains or hearts. There we go, I rescued one prisoner. It's pretty straightforward. You just have to rescue all of the people. And then you get quest rewards and gold coins, which you could then use. The money's not too tight, honestly. There's always enough to do everything. And I always fight all the enemies in all the areas so I could level up as much as possible and collect as many potions. Here's a weapon rack where I get one of the battle axes. Thankfully, I had already upgraded the great weapon focus when I leveled up, which increases my two-handed weapon. So see, it's 4 to 12. It weighs 7 pounds. At the top left, I have 148 out of 320. So that's my carrying weight. You could obviously sell off items to the merchant after the red goblin lair, red fang lair. And you get gold, and then you get more capacity. You could buy more potions. So it's like a careful balance in upgrading like how strong you are versus upgrading like your carrying capacity. Because the enemies are pretty difficult and there are only so many potions. So it's like backtracking versus beating people up and being strong enough to actually beat them up. You could upgrade weapons at the merchant later on if you have rune stones and stuff such as like emeralds or pearls. So here's the first boss in the game, Biletooth. He sounds kind of cringe. It's a goblin boss on top of the spider. I don't like how he sounds, honestly, but I do like how he looks. I like goblins. I saw goblins in Dark and Darker recently. Those are kind of cool. I also saw in Skyrim, in like my Skyrim forum, they actually have like really cool like ice goblins, which are very worthwhile to look at on wallstreetbets.com, obviously. So all the enemies die once you beat the boss, and essentially here's me tracking my way out to get to the village and save the caravan. I think her name is Rondala, if I'm not mistaken. The axe makes that boss way easier. The boss is actually pretty difficult in terms of health potions if you don't approach carefully and also have the axe. Here's the caravan master, Rondala, that I was talking about. She's the last person you need to save. Look at that, I remembered her name as well. Very cool.
Much more, I'm certain. I'll see you well rewarded upon my return to Baldur's Gate. I am a merchant of no small.
So you tell her that you'll see her safely to Baldur's Gate, so you get out of the Goblin Cave immediately. What you'll notice is at the end of each of the dungeons, you'll get out immediately, except for like the lizard area with like the huge teeth after the pirate area. You have to run all the way back after that one. But all backtracking anyway is easy regardless through all dungeons. And they have a quick way out at the end of the dungeon for each of them. So immediately I'm at the next area after I save Rondala. And this next area is very straightforward too. You just beat up the goblins near the villagers, and then essentially you get the next area. You fight the next boss, and then you get to the main area, which is Baldur's Gate, and you get to train with the merchant and do all the other quests, which are pretty straightforward. So I just saved all the villagers. Right here I'm just deciding what I want to level up. So I do combat reflexes, which increases the speed of my swings. And I just leave extra points. You could actually not do it and then just go back into the menu by pressing select and then going over and adding the points later on. so you don't have to do it all at once. But once you do it, you can't undo it, so. Alright, so I saved all the villagers. So now you press left on the D-pad to bring up the map, and then left again to make it smaller if you're trying to find your way around. So here's me just walking over here for no reason, because I do need to just go in that building. As you saw on the map, it had like an arrow indicating that you could go in or down. So I'm going to enter this in and fight the second boss. He's like a bigger goblin. You just have to like hit him in the side. Barbarian Rage. This guy walks up, and then you got like the 3 women. They're like the main quest givers in Baldur's Gate. Okay, so once you speak with them, they're going to bring you over to Baldur's Gate, and you'll need to essentially get your next quest, and also load out, buy more potions, sell off all the weapons and armor that you collected that you don't need, and all of the jewelry, which you don't need at all, ever.
Well met again, adventurer.
Here's just me just speaking with them, getting some lore, figuring out like the story, what's going on, trying to go up the stairs over there, trying to escape over here, but you just need to speak with Rondala to get out of here. I'm pretty sure. It's usually pretty obvious what to do.
Well, medic.
So here's Act 1. Right now I'm on Act 3 in the quest. The loading screens are very fast.
My lord, the interrogation of the prisoners is complete. They know little. Nonetheless,
So this guy, he's obviously like talking with like the main dark elf. He has like a tower shield, and he kind of looks like, if you play Deadpool, he kind of looks like the bad guy in the Deadpool video game.
employers, the Zentarum, seek to restore the tower and the power it holds for themselves. They use those three fools
I noticed this guy has like skeleton hands. He doesn't really have a skeleton face though, but they put a lot of work into the stained glass versus his robes. See how his robes kind of go over his leg? It's totally fine if you pay attention to the stained glass, because the stained glass does look nice regardless of the fabric.
He's well known to be exceedingly difficult to kill.
Obviously later on in Baldur's Gate you see one of the guys, it's called the Church of the Helm or something like that, and you get to meet the Helm Soldier, and obviously he loads out in all like nice shiny armor. But you obviously need the golden axe at that point for the sewer. And if you did get the shield and all that stuff, you're basically wasting your own time.
I'll amuse myself with them later.
So you can't just like obviously be all about armor and all that kind of stuff just because of like the stained glass and like all of this stuff. You also need like the axe, regardless of what they say.
Well, I have some matters to tend to, informing the... But should you require my help or are looking for work, please find me at the Purple Worm.
So right here it says 100,000 man hours went into the creation of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. And then obviously they juxtapose that to the jiggling breasts of this villager right here. Okay, so here's the captain. He'll give you a quest for defeating 100 monsters within the sewers, I believe. You need to go into the Purple Inn for him, which is right there. There's like 5 areas. You'll learn them all. They're pretty simple in the city. And then you leave to go outside and go to the main map to select other areas. Oh yeah, this dude wants you to go into the sewers to fight the 100 monsters right now. So you go do that for Solus. Just say yes, I'll return when they're all dead. Alright, so now I'm just gonna run over. And I go the wrong direction. You're not supposed to go over here. I was just looking at like the stained glass, taking like screen caps for like Steam. That left over here, this is the Thieves Guild. This door right here, this is the warehouse for the Thieves Guild. You go here a little bit later on. I'll edit this out. But you press left on the D-pad, you can see the map. So this is Church of the Helm on the left, and then here's a save point. And then the purple worm inn is above. Yeah, there's really no point in going in here for quite some time. Here's Priest of Helm. I don't understand this guy.
I am Euros, priest of alas, may Helm watch over.
He says, "May Helm watch over you," which I agree with full-heartedly. I only agree with people who look and have nice helmets.
Greetings again. May Helm.
The merchant's located right here. You could upgrade your weapons, sell armor, or buy armor and swords from him. So later on your swords actually break, but it doesn't matter because you'll get better swords. They rarely ever break besides that though, besides that particular part. Only one part do they break. So here's me buying some stuff. Right now I go sell. I sell all the jewelry. I sell all of the low tier weapons that I don't need. To free up at the top left, you can see the weight going down. 220, 214.4 out of 240. So as that decreases, obviously you're able to carry more potions or carry more weapons because they all have weight indicated by on the right hand side. That 3.0, 1.0, that's the weight. So every time you sell something, it decreases by that amount of weight. The green indicates that I have it currently equipped, so you know what you could sell versus what you don't have. I recommend keeping the bow here to shoot at the green things in the sewer. Keeping the runestone. The runestone you could use to upgrade your weapons once you get like the diamond and the emerald and the jet. The runestone's super simple to find. Like if you haven't found it yet by now, like there's really no reason for you to like be looking for it. Like it's so obvious. You could find it on my stream. It's not hard to find. You don't need it right now. Like you need the golden axe, okay? The runestone, you can't do shit with it right now. The runestone's basically in this dude's left eye, right in front of your face. Look at him. He's no priest of Helm. He has a runestone in his fucking face. Buy the gold axe right now. If you're not buying the gold axe, you're doing everything wrong. See, fine battle axe, 8 to 20. Gold axe, 8 to 20. If you're not buying that, you have no idea what you're doing. Okay, perfect. That's the only thing that matters. You can't even upgrade it right now. Okay? It's already upgraded. You can never upgrade it. You're going to break it too. And have a better axe at that same point. So here's me checking it out. Press select. Just equip it. Okay. Let me check it again. Alright, perfect.